So, Robbie, talk to me a little bit when you have torsion, and I think modern fins don't have torsion, but what does I guess slows you down. But the other thing is people talk a lot about the bend of the fin, and why is that important? And you know, you see like on your Ikalwa fin and on some of your other fins, there's a rating from you know, hard, medium to soft.
Yes.
What does all that do?
Well, the rating can be a number of things. It depends on. Let's talk about a soft fin. Okay, so if you get a fin, basically it's going to bend. I don't know if you can see that. It'll bend, and the softer fin will bend more. Now, with that, the bend together with the profile creates lift. Right. And what you're wanting to do is get your board to ride up above the chop of the water so that the board is riding at an angle and a height that just allows you to skip over the white water, to basically get over the chop, to create the most form of efficiency and also obviously equal speed. So what you're looking at in terms of that is the fin itself is it's really important in terms of the profile. It's really important in terms of the way that you rake the fin as well. You know, like a weed fin, sorry, I'm digressing a bit, but a weed fin is raked very far back. Yeah. Obviously, so it's not going to catch weed, but raking your fin back lowers the nose of your board and it lowers the lift of your board. Bringing the fin forward, like you'll see a formula board has a very, very upright fin. And that's because they're trying to create, you know, lift. So what you're doing in terms of the stiffness, the rake, and obviously your profile, which is your shape, is that you are trying to control that lift. You're trying to get perfect lift to be able to get you to skip over the water. So to get to your question in terms of bend, heavy people, I'm 116 kilograms. So, you know, the thing there is that I'm going to want a slightly stiffer fin, because if I use a soft fin, it's going to feel like bubble gum under me. You know, it's going to be like spaghetti. And with that, you obviously a lighter person would maybe use a medium fin. However, it does depend on a whole array of factors, and that is the type of board that you've got, the rocker line of your board, and what angle that board will naturally sit at. Depends on the sail. Some sails have higher lift factors than others, depending on obviously their draft. And it also depends on you as a sailor, because of the fact that taller people obviously have different leverage properties. So all of those things obviously attribute to what type of fin that you would need. That's why I always say to people, you know, it really is like chasing your tail. You need to try as many fins as you possibly can. I know people don't like to lend fins, but it really is, you know, whenever I see even someone with another brand, I say, please, can I try the fin? You know, because you just want to see what it does and how it works. To answer the question in terms of twist, the big thing with regards to twist is counteractive, because the fin is running through the water. That what happens is when something bends, it will automatically have what they call geometric twist, because of the thickest part of the fin is not in the center. It's usually at around about 35 to 40% of the center. So what will happen is a geometric twist will take place. So you can't really see it to the eye, but when I bend the fin like that, the fin is actually bending slightly. All right. So to counter that, basically what happens is you would fill it with what we usually call 45-degree biax material. So that if you want to find a fin that's going to be really counter any form of twist, you should, first of all, just try and twist it. And a good fin will not twist at all. And that goes for like wave fins as well. You know, it's the last thing you want. A wave fin is heavily raked back because you really want to do your bottom turns. And from that perspective, you know, there's a lot of pressure at the back. And for that reason, if you bend it, you don't really want to create any form of twist or negative movement in terms of its direction. And the last thing is in terms of lift is basically a fin can be looked at almost like a hydrofoil underwater, because of the fact that if you are running a fin through the water and you're basically just pushing it through the water in a straight line upright, there's no resistance. But if you put it at an angle and you put a little bit of pressure on it, you will notice that it's going to want to lift. So that's what's happening to the fin underwater. As you push on it, it bends underwater. And as it's bending, it creates an angle of attack. That angle of attack obviously has a high pressure and a low pressure side, and it's going to lift the board out of the water. So the more the fin is able to bend in connection with your weight and the pressure that you put on it, the more you're able to lift that board and ride over the chop. And that's the beauty of windsurfing, where you can get the board to feel light. And it basically is you're in a situation where you've got the least amount of resistance that you can create. And that is when you've got the most efficient environment. And that's where speed comes from.